see me?
We have shrubs, trees.
No.
We have
Okay.
bushes, fruit stems. Gary Young even found use for weeds, Dorado azul, right? Amazing. So typically extracted through distillation or cold pressing. Each oil contains hundreds of constituents. We'll talk about these chemical constituents. No two are exactly alike, highly concentrated and potent. So in some cases, 100 to 10,000 times more concentrated than the herb. So very strong. And then essential oils, most of them are volatile. Volatile, like your husband's temper. Volatile, like you are with your kids, summertime, right now. Volatile means that they readily evaporate. So some of the difference between EOs and your fatty oils like coconut and olive oil, the size of the molecule, the smaller molecules of essential oils allow them to get into the air to dissipate more readily. So why do plants produce essential oils? We have cross-pollination, chemical messaging, stress management. So plants are exposed to environmental stressors and pathogens just like we are. We have the ability to adapt to our environment, right? We'll dress a wound, we'll put a coat on if we're cold, we can wash our hands and our bodies. So essential oils provide those kinds of functions for plants. I like to compare it to the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system is the functional arm of our immune system, right? Helps cleanse our tissues from pathogens, impurities, and essential oils do similar functions for the plant. So I really like that comparison. And really, they're the natural chemistry of the plant that allows it to thrive. So steam distilling, if you haven't seen this process, so water is heated, creating steam, and then it's going to pass through that plant material, pulling out the oil. The oil is going to rise with the steam, going through this pipe system. It only touches stainless steel or glass the entire process. Gary ensured that so that they weren't, no impurities were introduced along with the oil. So then the condenser is going to cool the steam, and then in the separator, the oil rises to the top, and then we have that wonderful floral water as the waste byproduct. It's still useful, even the waste is useful. And some pictures here of that process, St. Mary's Farm there. If you've been there, you recognize that truck. All right, so constituents. So what are these? They're the basic building blocks, isoprene units made up of 5 carbon atoms. And these constituents will work synergistically together in the ways we want to support the body. So each constituent has a different function, and it will create a unique aroma. Okay. I see pictures, so I'm going to pause for a second. Plants are like oil factories, right? They're just full of these enzymatic reactions. But variances in nature can determine differences. So when you're dealing with nature, just like any other farming focus, you're going to have different yields based on rainfall, based on soil pH, mineral count, that kind of thing. So a lot of variances, and the same plant may give off a different aroma if grown in different parts of the world. So how do we measure these constituents? Well, the gas chromatography, mass spectrometry. So say that 10 times really fast. Gas chromatography, mass spectrometry. GCMS. Let's go with that. GCMS. This is how we separate, identify, and measure the molecular constituents of the oil. So this is how we kind of pop the hood, take a look underneath what's going on in this little drop of oil. So it allows us to really get in there and look closely. I want to go through different categories now. So we're going to break these constituents up into 3 categories. So monoterpenes are the first category. These are 10 carbon chains. They're found in most citrus and tree oils. Okay, diffuse and spread more readily, or quickly evaporate more readily, so they're more volatile. So these are good ones. These citrus and tree oils are really good to diffuse when your daughter burns popcorn right before company's coming over to the house. This has happened. So they get up in the air and help cleanse that stinky air really fast. This came from one of our diamonds, Pam Hunter. She gave me this information. I love this. Monoterpenes are the organizers and peacemakers, and have a stimulating effect. Kind of like different, but valor, I was explaining that valor gives us courage and calms us all at the same time, right? So these oils can both stimulate and have a peace and calming effect. So here's a gas chromatogram. So we run it through the GCMS. We can get a report. Here is a gas chromatogram of sacred frankincense. So we can see what is it made up of, what makes it tick. And of course, sacred frankincense dissipates, gets into the air quickly. You can really take in the aroma quite readily. And we look on the chromatogram and we see monoterpenes dominate this particular oil. So that spike you see is alpha pinene. Alpha pinene is the most abundant constituent in sacred frankincense. If this looked different from we're testing our samples, it could help us determine, okay, the pattern's off. So we've got some synthetics, there's been some adulteration to the sample, something's going on. So it helps us ensure that seed to seal quality that we so firmly believe in. Oxygenated monoterpenes. So these are 10 carbons within oxygenation. Ketones, aldehydes, alcohol, and esters are examples. They're going to spread more slowly. They're going to linger in rooms and on surfaces longer. And they're going to be attracted to moisture. Okay, they're more sticky. So, like me, I've got peppermint under my nose right now, not affecting my eyes. But for those, I'm sure many of you have done this, you put it on your forehead, you put it on your temples, and within a few seconds you go, oh no, it's in my eye. Anybody else done that before? But you didn't actually put it in your eye, did you? No, it's the moisture in your eyeball attracting the oxygenated monoterpenes of the peppermint right to your eye, and then you're like, oh no, I've got it on my eye. So oxygenated monoterpenes are therapeutic, calming, sedative. I had an irritation I used peppermint on. It worked really well. I was out weeding. Lots of weeds here in Utah. So gas chromatogram of peppermint. If we break that down, we can see it's pretty diverse, right? Peppermint's pretty diverse. We can see that. We can also see two main spike columns there in the oxygenated monoterpene section. Those are representative of menthol and menthone, right? The two most abundant constituents of peppermint. So we can really see and look closely at what's really making these oils tick. And before Gary even had this technology and equipment, he knew a lot of this stuff. He was so intuitive. He knew it. So now we can, with science, back up some of the knowledge and application that Gary was using from the beginning. Sesquiterpenes, even heavier, 15 carbons. So they're going to linger longer, right? They're going to spread really a lot slower, and they're going to remain on surfaces a lot longer. So if you haven't heard me teach this before, I have a personal example. So I used cedar wood once on my scalp. Not for anything in particular, you know. I didn't use it right here. Didn't use it in the bottom or right, kind of right about here, you know, just for no reason in particular. And I wanted the results in like 24 hours. So right before bed, I put like 15 drops in there, and it was really, really wet. I lay in bed. My wife's like, "Oh my gosh, what did you just do?" And so I wake up the next morning and jump in the shower before work. I think it was summer. I had the window, or early fall, I had the window open. We live in Lehigh behind corporate. So if you've been to corporate headquarters, there's still some farmland. It's not all buildings. There's still some farmland. Right behind our house is a cow pasture. They're burning stuff all the time. All sorts of strange smells. I'm in the shower. I'm thinking, oh, somebody's burning something. And that night, I repeated. I put on half a bottle. My wife says, oh my gosh. Get up the next day, take a shower, and I'm like, oh, somebody's burning. And I realized I'm burning. I'm the smelly, burning person. So be careful. Sesquiterpenes, I will attest, do linger longer and remain on surfaces. But they're fantastic. So the wisdom molecules, strong woodsy or earthy aroma. Gary loved those sesquiterpenes. So as we look at sacred sandalwood, that heaviness, that strength that comes from it. When we run a gas chromatogram, we can see, there it is. Many sesquiterpenes, really heavy in that department. Okay, now this is my favorite one. So this was new to me when I joined Young Living. I've been in this position, training and education, for a year and a half. And so when I met with R&D and I started learning this stuff, it was just awesome to me, right? So lavender is so fun to look at. Again, this helps us identify the different components and the therapeutic quality. So this one illustrates the diversity and complexity in such a good way. I need a volunteer here from the low, close, 2 hands. That was just too much enthusiasm. You got to come up. I picked somebody in the back, but we're on a, there's a timer up here. So, okay, come on up. Can you? This may have been a bad idea. Let's do it right here. Right here. We'll do it right here. Okay, so I want you to hold the lavender somewhat arm's length. Now, there's only a few people in the room with oil, I'm sure. So this may not work. But even at corporate in my office, where there's like 2,000 diffusers going at any point during the day, it worked. So tell me when you can start to smell it. I can smell it too. Okay. So what is she smelling right now? Monoterpenes. 10 points. Monoterpenes down right about here. Anything change? Richer? Anything different? It's definitely, I didn't lead her on that. It's definitely richer. Okay, now what's she starting to smell? Oxygenated monoterpenes. Now right under the nose, tell me if the smell changes. It did? Is it a little heavier? I'm not leading her. I'm not leading the witness, Your Honor. It's in your nose. So now so what's she smelling right here? Sesquiterpenes. Awesome. With lavender, you can do that. You can differentiate. You can do your own smell test. Congratulations, you just earned a brand new bottle of lavender. I was going to give it to somebody else, but she touched it to her nose, so. Just kidding. Totally yours. All right, so let's talk about enantiomers. Enantiomers. Sounds like a Marvel character, right? So enantiomers are 2 molecules that have the same molecular formula, the same molecular weight, but different spatial arrangements. Okay, so why are we talking about those? So chiral chromatography, another testing method. Plant chemistry, natural chemistry, will lead to stereoselective compounds, which means to compare to human, left or right hand, right? Most of us are left or right-handed, and nature will do that. Again, plants are spitting out these enzymatic reactions, and in most cases, these enzymatic reactions result in one major enantiomer, okay? In synthetic chemistry, we get not stereoselective, but racemic compounds. Racemic compounds are 2 enantiomers at the same concentration. So then we can look at that and go, okay, our samples have been adulterated with synthetics, some processing, something's going on that's not right. That's another way we can ensure seed to seal. Carbone's a great example of this. Depending on the rotation, again, same molecular formula, same molecular weight, different spatial arrangement, we'll either perceive spearmint or we'll perceive caraway. It changes how we perceive the aroma, that arrangement. That's just fascinating to me. So top tier standards. Our quality control team uses a battery of chemical, physical, microbiological tests, and these tests are to measure the exact components and really ensure that the properties of the essential oils are intact. So testing begins at the farm and then continues until the final stages where the product is shipped to consumers. So how do we measure purity? Another testing method, the IRMS, or isotope ratio mass spectrometer. So in photosynthesis, there's specific carbon isotopes are yielded in the process of photosynthesis. So we can actually measure these isotopes to ensure that a sample is truly natural and not synthetic. The cool thing about this machine is we're the only essential oil company that has one. We have 2. Okay, yay science. Takes 2 years, over 2 years. Dr. Book confirmed with me again, it's over 2 years to adequately learn how to operate and interpret the data. So pretty awesome. We've got 2 of those babies. So some other tests. Again, each test is repeated numerous times. We've got highly trained, highly skilled scientists doing these tests, state-of-the-art tests, and then we incorporate third-party testing just to make sure. So we go the extra mile. Our manufacturing standards are rigid. We scrutinize ingredients. We make sure every step of the manufacturing process is following seed to seal. We've dropped manufacturers, and frankly, we've had some quit on us because we were so rigid. That's a sign that seed to seal is in process. Okay, how do essential oils work? Let's talk about how these odorant molecules and constituents work in the body. So oils can be utilized in 3 different ways. Therapeutically as aromatics. We can apply them topically, of course. And using essential oils internally is a great plant-based way to support our family's health and wellness. So we're going to start off with aromatically. So using oils aromatically, we're going to stimulate the respiratory system and the limbic lobe of the brain, the limbic system. And if you're not familiar with that, you're going to learn right now what that means. So using aromatically, it's a great way to positively impact your emotions, your mood. Breathing in essential oils is going to get deep into the lungs, impact your respiratory system, and there they'll be taken into the bloodstream. So did you know the surface area in the respiratory system is as big as a full-size tennis court? So think about that. Wait a minute, really? Are you sure? I've lost weight recently. But what that means is there's a lot of surface area for absorption to take place. So great opportunity for diffuse and inhaled oils to get into the system. So as we look at the respiratory system, again, volatility of the oils allows for quick, fast and easy absorption through the lungs. When we breathe in air, it goes in through the nose and mouth, down the pharynx and larynx, trachea, left and right bronchi, the bronchioles, and then eventually hits the alveoli, where oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged. It's like a tube system. It gets smaller and smaller. And so the alveoli at the end of the system has the thinnest membrane in the body. So really absorption of what we breathe in is high there. Something else going on with aromatic use. Odorant molecules are going to enter into the nose. They're going to stimulate the olfactory epithelium, the little projections there coming down from the lining of the nasal system. And the receptor cells that protrude there from the epithelium are very sensitive. They're going to react with those odorant molecules. They're going to send information right up to the olfactory nerve. The olfactory nerve is going to signal the olfactory cortex. The olfactory cortex signals the limbic system. So, interestingly enough, information about sound and touch do not pass through these parts of the brain. So this may be why the sense of smell is so effective in triggering emotions and mood. The limbic system responsible for mood, memory, behavior, and emotions. So the sense of smell in general can do a lot of things physiologically, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But the sense of smell is very, very powerful. So the limbic system is made up of a few different highly important parts of the brain here. The hypothalamus regulating hormones, the amygdala interpreting emotions, the hypothalamus sleep, mood, you've got body temperature, metabolism. Some really important things that the limbic system does. Hippocampus, memory storage, kind of a filing system, quick retrieval and memory storage. Kind of some important things, right? So emotions, behavior, hormone function, sleep, long-term memory, basic drives like hunger, sex. So I like the limbic system. Yeah. Woo. My wife's trying to tone mine down a bit. I eat too much. That's what it is. I'm pretty sure. Helen Keller said, smell is a potent wizard that transports you across thousands of miles and all the years you have lived. Love that quote. Anybody's mouth water a little bit from the subliminal messaging there? Or not subliminal? Yeah, overt. So sense of smell, again, closely tied with memory and emotions, and a scent can evoke an emotion or a memory even before we are consciously aware of that emotion. So I want you to do something with me. Take out an oil. If you have a woodsy oil, lavender will work too for our winter, if that's what you're using. I've got Northern Lights Black Spruce, my wife's favorite. So I want to do an activity with you. So take out that oil and put a couple drops in your hand. 2 or 3 drops is fine. Especially if you've got a woodsy one, this will work really good. Rub your hands together, and I want you to take in 3 or 4 or 5 breaths. I want you to think about what comes to your mind when you're breathing that oil. How do you feel? What does it do for your emotions? Notice how you'll relax. It might take you to a place where that oil reminds you of. For my wife, she grew up in Idaho. She loves this oil. For me, it actually reminds me of camping in the Uinta Mountains that are near here, near the Utah-Wyoming border, and also camping with my dad in the Redwoods, Northern California when I was a kid. I don't know why. That's what came back to me. I'm going to take a nap now. So you begin to relax and calm, you feel centered, and that's the power of smell and emotion. So many essential oils are good for helping set our mood, help balance our emotions. And Gary's developed many blends, emotional blends, to help us do that as well. Okay, topically, so we've got some great benefits to the skin after exercise, for massage, using it for healthy skin, dry skin in those winter months, endless other ways. So everything we apply can be taken into the skin. You think, how is that? The skin's like a coat of armor, right? But if you know about the skin, it's our largest organ, right? It protects the other organs. It's also our largest detoxifying organ. So the skin's really more like a sponge. And it's breathing. Stuff's coming in, stuff's leaving, right? It's the integumentary system. We've got essential oils, and we've got personal care line that are really beneficial for the skin and the body. So if you remember, essential oils are mostly fat soluble, as I mentioned earlier, have unique structural features in that sense that allow them to be active both on and within the skin surface. So looking at the skin, we've got several layers that things have to get through. The epidermis is made up of 5 layers. Then the dermis, the hypodermis is where the vasculature takes place. That's where things get introduced in the bloodstream. So oils being mostly fat soluble, well, the stratum corneum, the top layer of the epidermis, has got these skin cells called keratinocytes. Keratinocytes are kind of like bricks. They're kind of like bricks on a wall. And then the mortar that keeps those bricks in place, that is our fat cells. And so the essential oils will interact with fat cells. And once inside, the bloodstream will circulate, and then they'll touch other organs and systems. So a lot of people like to apply oils to the bottom of their feet. I like that area. If you're familiar with Raindrop, Gary's developed an amazing technique through utilizing the spine to absorb in the oils and get the benefits that way. The spine is a great area to put oils. And as we get older, as we age, our skin gets more fragile, and we get these little cracks or micro tears in our skin. So it actually gets in the bloodstream even faster. So yay aging, right? There's a positive. All right. The average woman puts over 168 chemicals on the skin simply by using everyday personal care products. And we launched some more personal care products today. So we're getting there quickly. I'm so excited about the sunscreen. Personally, that's what I'm really pumped about. Not so much the other stuff for me, the Savvy and whatnot, but yes, I am excited about Savvy. So your skin's your largest organ, but it really and it's a barrier, but it really acts like a sponge. So I want you to think about first hour of waking up. Okay, think about all of the different products you put on your skin, even within that first hour, and think about where they're coming from. What are the sources? What are the ingredients? And do you really want those circulating through your body? Internal use. Internal use is a great way to support the entire body. You can take oils in a veggie capsule. That we have a whole vitality line that's available for this. Put the vitality oils in a capsule. Enhance the flavors of your favorite beverages. I love a little citrus in my Ningxia. And then even cook, right? Culinary uses are fantastic with oils. So we also have supplements that are infused with essential oils, another way to get those into the body. So the digestive process, when we eat or we take things in, the stomach's going to break down and separate for absorption, and then the small intestine is where absorption begins taking place. The small intestine is lined with this microvilli. This microvilli, we want this stuff plush and lush, like good old-fashioned shag carpet, right? Because then we have this high absorptive capability and area, and we're going to get all those nutrients we need to into our bloodstream and into the body for usage. After years of especially American Western diet, right? Years of abused coffee, soda, alcohol, processed foods, fast foods, and we're abusing the digestive system. We're putting a big load on the pipes. We're burning those microvilli, that shag carpet. It's more like commercial Berber, you know? And so we really harm the body's ability to be efficient at absorbing nutrients and make it difficult to get anything out of it. So if we want to really kind of turn that around and do some things better, if you have to have Digest after every meal, Digest Vitality after every meal, or put it on top of it, something's wrong. Your habits aren't quite there. And I used to tell my patients, you can't out-supplement a bad diet. I love them buying their supplements from me. I wish they were Young Living, but I wouldn't be here. I'd be in practice still probably, right? You can do a lot of things to supplement your diet, but you can't out-supplement a bad diet. So again, taking oils internally, a very healthy way to support a healthy digestive tract and the filters of the body. Everything we eat, drink, breathe, smell, taste, gets processed by the liver. And so a great way to support the healthy filters of the body is taking our vitality oils as well. They're going to touch all those points. So supplements are meant to enhance health, right? Another thing to focus on in eating is to focus on those foods that have natural digestive abilities, that are full of enzymes already. That's going to take such a load of our pipes, our system, and really going to help you get more benefit from these healthy supplements, vitality oils, the efforts that you're making. We've got supplements for everybody. We've got Ningxia Red, Sleek, children's line now. I'm so excited with the Mighty Bites and the probiotics and prebiotics. And, so excited about that. And they taste really good. I've got some at my desk. Don't tell anyone. Targeted cleansing nutrition and really help aid the filters, the healthy filters in the body. So when you think about all of these things, these principles, and you think about what can I do? I really like to teach this whole lesson here for new people, new to Young Living. Who's new to Young Living that's up here close by? You're new? How long ago did you join? A couple months ago. Wow. Would you come over here for a second? Have you seen this? And you don't have this yet? I want to share this with you. You do. She was not being presumptuous. You do. You won. So the reason I'm sharing this with you, I want you to learn about the legacy and culture of Young Living. And I met Gary Young. Thank you. I met Gary Young in practice, Gary and Mary. And I'll try not to get weepy because we've done enough of that. But the legacy that he's created, the ability he had in the midst of suffering and pain to take time with an individual, I just don't understand. I want to be like that. So I think it's important for people that are new to just realize he gave everything for this. He wanted everybody to have essential oils, to have the benefits of these wonderful God-given plant-based products. So essential oils have unique and diverse constituents. What does that really mean? That means they can apply to you individually. They can help you as an individual. And there's a rave going on. Cue the music. But that's really the point is, if you don't have a story, if you don't have your story yet, borrow inspiration from other stories while you're sharing. I did that in practice. When I started in practice, had I helped anybody yet? Of course not. You have to let's borrow inspiration, and then you'll develop your own story, and it'll be so much more powerful. But find your story. So essential oils aren't just about scented candles and smelling nice, but again, they do a really good job at that. It's about overall health and wellness. It's about inspiring others to make those changes as well. And when you share, you'll have that passion because you've used the products, you know them, you understand them. So thank you so much. I wish you all luck in finding your story.
All right.